Hey everybody, this is Steve with another episode of Keep 'em Rolling, and this is going to be a recent find video. I was able to get most of these items at a get-together with some of my collector friends. We try to get together every 3 months or so and have kind of a little ad hoc party, if you will. We bring dishes to pass. We, bring show and tell items, stuff we've recently found. We talk about history. We do a kind of a sell and swap thing, and then we'll end up closing the evening out by hanging out in the host's war room, if you will. So it's just a really fun way to learn, to see new things, to just have a great time. And I strongly recommend if you can put something like this together in your area, it's an amazing experience, and it's really fun. I did take some stuff to sell / trade. And it wasn't anything that was junk. It was stuff I really liked. It's just stuff that I didn't really have use for anymore. It's stuff that was sitting in drawers and boxes and things like that. So I was, glad to make some other people happy, and then people brought stuff that made me happy. So it's a win-win situation. Now, most of the stuff, well, I should say all the stuff I bought from one of my fellow collectors, and he had just gotten a bunch of brand new things into his collection, pretty impressive stuff, and he needed to make room. So he was looking through and trying to kind of just get rid of things that didn't excite him that much. And one of these was this cap right here. Now, this is the Navy foul weather cap. It's made out of kind of like almost like a cotton duck, kind of a canvasy material. It's like water resistant, so water should just roll right off. It's got this short little visor in the front here, and then on the back, it's got this giant flap here that you could put over your collar. So if it was raining, the water would run down the cap and then off the back and down the back of your jacket versus down your neck. Nice crisp stamp there, USN, United States Navy. The inside has a almost blanket material type wool. Now this is a later war version of this. I do have two of these that are unissued that are early war, and the difference primarily is in the chin strap. On the earlier war models, the buckle is actually sewn right to the flap, so you have to thread the chin strap through and adjust it from there. On the later war ones, they got innovative. What they did, they put a snap in. So you could adjust this, and once you had it adjusted to take it on and off, you simply had to unsnap or snap it. So great little innovation there. It's got a nice tag here in the flap. Up here, you can see Navy Department contract. It's the NXSX tag. And for those of you who come across these tags, if you go online and you type in Navy contract number lookup, something to that type of search, usually what will come up is the U.S. Militaria Forum. And if you've never been on the U.S. Militaria Forum before, I strongly suggest you check them out. The material on there is absolutely amazing. And on there is a database of these contract numbers that people have put together. And you can look up and find out, the NXSX, what it means, and then you can find out where this number dates. And for this cap, it dates to, I've got my little research tag here, March of 1945. So it's late war, but it's not out of the realm of World War II. As far as these caps go, they're out there, okay? And they're out there in unissued condition. But with that being said, if you want to add one to your collection, and I strongly recommend if you are a Navy person or a headgear person that you do pick one of these up, do it now. The sooner the better, because this stuff is drying up, okay? Yes, there are crates of these that were never issued during the war that went into surplus, but they're being used up. And I've seen this happen time and again in this hobby where you see something for 2 or 3 years and it just oodles of them, and then all of a sudden they're gone. Not only are they gone, but when you do see one, the price is ridiculous and the condition is horrible. So if you're planning on getting one of these, I strongly suggest that you do it sooner rather than later. And even online, the costs are fair. The price I paid for this one, $20. Not a bad price at all. Now, the next item, and you're going to probably see this headgear theme here. Next item is this nice little Navy visor cap. I really like this one. I was actually with this fellow collector when he found this at an antique show, and he got there first. So what we are looking at here is we're looking at a early World War II Navy warrant officer's cap, and the insignia on here is for the bosun. All right. And just a nice bullion. Try and zoom in there so you can see. Look at that bullion. I mean, just beautiful. And what I really like about this cap, I mean, the visor has the checkering, which is pretty common. For some reason, that's how this stuff went. You know, it's hard to find a Navy hat that doesn't have some sort of checkering on the visor. The underside, there's no sweat shield. It's got the nice green here on the underside of the brim, which we like to see. The wear on this cap, there's some staining and some snagging. There's a little hole in the back here, but it's all good, honest wear. I mean, this was a cap that was worn. It wasn't a cap that sat around in someone's foot locker or sea chest or whatever. This cap was worn. I wish it could talk. Love to hear the stories that it could tell. Now, as far as the insignia goes, sorry, I was just thinking what stories it might tell. The insignia here, what's funny is that it's actually spelled B-O-A-T-S-W-A-I-N. So it looks like phonetically it should be boatswain. And it's not boatswain, it's pronounced bosun. B-O-S-U-N. That's just like one of those little teaching moments there. And believe me, years ago, I was pronouncing it wrong for quite a while. So this cap right here, I paid $30 for it. I thought it was well worth it. It's hard to find warrant officers caps like this. You know, they're out there, but they're just not common. So nice addition. Now, the last cap, and excuse me, I had it set aside here. Whew. This cap, it's kind of an interesting story behind it. Okay, you look at this cap, and what happened was when we first, and I'll show you this in just a second. We've got a piece of it there. When we first got there, people began to, you know, we actually, let me back up. When we first got to the party, we sat around and talked for a bit. We ate dinner, and then we decided to do the show and tell, and then the show and tell evolved into the selling. And during the selling phase, basically people bring out their boxes and open them up, and we kind of spread stuff out, and you just dig in. And my friend opened up the box and started taking things out, and people dug in, and I saw this hat, and I'm like, it just didn't interest me. Other people were kind of grabbing onto it and looking at it, and I'd seen the price. My friend does a really great price list, and it was $50, and I thought, yeah, $50 is just, you know, I'm not interested. And when I looked at the top of it, you know, that was another reason, was I saw the stain on it. Over here you can see there was a wear mark, and I'd looked at it from a distance and just wrote it off. And I violated collecting rule number 1. Don't write something off. Take an actual look at it, pick it up, examine it. Nobody wanted it. So later in the evening, as we were kind of just sitting around talking, you know, I was fidgeting, and I picked it up and looked at it, and I was like, oh my goodness, I will take the hat. Now, there's a couple of reasons. First of all, on the inside here, you got a nice sweat shield, and it's got some condition issues, but that's pretty common for this type of hat. You can see the maker's mark, which a lot of times it disappears. When the sweat shield fails, the maker mark will just be lost. This one you can still read out, and it says Knickerbocker Men's Shops, New York, custom tailored. So a nice maker's mark. It's got the back strap, which is a kind of either custom feature or an early war feature. The back straps went away pretty quick because it was extra material that could go for other things, including the brass buckle. The insignia on the front here is a just nice, honest officer's eagle. On the other side of the shield, right in this kind of box right here at the top of the shield, on the other side, it is marked acid test. And that's just a good indication of a World War II piece. It doesn't make it 100% for sure World War II, but it's a good thing to see. Now, why I grabbed this cap is because look at the visor. Ladies and gentlemen, this cap is, for all intents and purposes, a custom-made crusher. Now, when I bought the cap, on the inside was this device right here. This is your classic stiffener. So this gives the cap that stiff, rigid appearance, okay? So before taking out the stiffener, this cap was a very rigid crowned cap with a soft, flexible visor. I don't know why the officer went with this cap. Maybe he liked the looks of it, maybe just the jaunty nature, he liked the soft visor, who knows? But it is a custom Crusher cap. Absolutely love it. I could not believe that nobody else jumped on it. Now, when I display it, I'm probably going to display it without the stiffener in it. I'm just going to let it relax because I'm worried about that spot on the back there and this metal putting more tension on it and causing it to split. So I will keep this with it, and all my research information will include that, and then I'll just display it without. But just amazing cap. So it was quite a fun evening, and anytime I can find a custom Crusher, you know how I love Crushers, and you know how I love custom versions, I was ecstatic. I mean, just absolutely amazing. So let me finish up with one last little thing. The next day on Sunday, I took some time and went antiquing with a friend of mine, and I picked up just a few pieces. I'll show you just some of the more or less amazing pieces. I always like to buy the ration tokens. They're out there, but once again, they're getting harder and harder to find. You see a lot of the ration books, but not so much the ration tokens. So it was a pretty fair deal. It was $4 for each little bag, and you know, it is what it is. Picked up a nice photo postcard. I just liked the kind of subject matter. Most likely this is probably son, and dad here getting ready to go off for war. I like this kind of almost Civil War period backdrop that they're using. And I'm sorry, everybody, that I'm off on the right here in this. I'm not framing this in the center. I'm using a stand, and the back of the stand is right in the middle of my picture frame. So, I have to rethink that. I think I put it on backwards. Anyways, and then to finish it up, I found this. And I'm always looking for things for my Foot Locker, and I just happened to see this sitting on a shelf. I don't know why I picked it up. It was the shape. It's tooth powder. It's Colgate. Still got the tooth powder in it. And I found that out because I tried to take the top off, and when I popped the top off finally, the powder went everywhere. So it's still got the tooth powder in it. Do not place on wet surfaces. And I looked at this and I thought, it's $5. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I could put that in my Foot Locker. I have tooth powder in there, but I don't like it. It's kind of a generic one. I don't know if it's wartime or not. But I'm like, I really like this. This is unusual. It's Colgate. Everybody knows Colgate. So I'm like, I think I'll add this. Well, I picked it up, and I'm walking up to pay for it. I'm looking at it, and I turn it around. Look at what it says. New Victory Package. Saves metal. Do not place on wet surfaces. This is a wartime tooth powder container. How cool is that? With the tooth powder still in it. So I have a period toothbrush, and this will just make a nice addition to my Foot Locker. And I was really ecstatic to find a piece that could add to my Foot Locker. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, that was my weekend of finds. I think it was a good weekend. I was able to move a few things out of my collection and acquire a few items. And in doing so, it did not cost me a lot. I think in the end, I ended up spending, after my selling, around $25 total out of my own pocket. So it's wonderful when you can trade and get some new things for your collection. So on that note, like, subscribe, hate. If you do hate it or dislike it, please comment. And if you do like it, comment, and I will try and get back with you on the comments. I was having some issues with YouTube and commenting, so I'm trying to work out why my comments are being held back, but we'll figure it out. So this is Steve with Keep 'em Rolling, reminding all of you to, of course, wait for it, keep 'em rolling.